What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing out there today? Welcome back to Wildcat MTG, and here we are. We've arrived at the last video of 2024, and I guess before we jump into today's video, let me take a moment to just wish everybody a happy new year. I hope everyone has a great, safe holiday. Whatever you're doing out there, if you're out there celebrating, please be careful, be safe, enjoy yourselves. But yeah, here we are. So to end the year, I wanted to do something different. I want to do more of a collection video today, and I know that not doing a pack opening or a box opening is pretty peculiar for this channel, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to break it up and talk about some of the things that I've picked up this year, the things that I'm super pumped about, that I added in my own collection. Kind of talk about what I acquired, how I acquired it, and so I've kind of long said that for me, Magic scratches a few itches for me, right? It checks a lot of boxes for me in that I obviously love the gameplay aspect of it. Play Modern, play Commander, play mostly Limited, drafting and things like that, but I do play the game. And then there's, of course, the investment piece for me, which is, talk about sealed products and things like that, especially have those conversations with patrons a lot. And then there's the piece where it's the actual collecting, right? And collecting and investing are sometimes interchangeable, but I think that collecting can be different. Sometimes there's things that I pick up that are collectible that I don't necessarily see as an investment per se, but I'm really happy to own the piece, right? So I think this kind of floats in between somewhere today, investing versus collecting, and so kind of start with the actual playmat. So Fallout comes out this year, and one of the things that was specific to Fallout was they came out with the bobbleheads, including serial numbered bobbleheads. And so every once in a while I like to do something called side quests. And I made a side quest for me that was to see if I could pick up one of each of the serial numbered bobbleheads this year from Fallout. And so, side quest completed, I was able to obtain one of each of the bobbleheads in a serial numbered version. I then, of course, let's say of course, but I then had them graded as well because I thought it'd be pretty cool to just, get them all nice and aligned. And so yeah, so here we go. So here's the strength bobblehead. And then, of course, it spells out the word special. My special collection here of serial numbered bobbleheads: perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and last but not least, the luck bobblehead. So started on this quest earlier this year after Fallout came out. One of my patrons had actually pulled the luck bobblehead, and was interested in unloading it to try to complete, add some things to his collection and complete a few of his commander decks. So I was able to trade a fair amount away for it, tried to give a really good fair price for it. I think I traded around between 500 and 550 in cards back value-wise. So that's how I got the luck piece. The only one of these I actually paid actual cash for was the agility bobblehead. I purchased the agility bobblehead, off of eBay for a little bit under 400. The endurance bobblehead, another buddy of mine had opened this, and he and I had talked, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of thinking about making a run at the bobbleheads. And so he was kind enough to trade me the endurance bobblehead. I think I gave up between 400 and 450 in value for the endurance bobblehead. And then the strength, perception, charisma, and intelligence bobblehead I actually picked up at a Star City Games con when Modern Horizons 3 came out, and they had a con here in Vegas, Star City Games. And there wasn't actually very many bobbleheads in the room, but there was three separate vendors that had a fair amount. Or I say a fair amount. They had like 3 or 4 bobbleheads of various types, and it just so happens that probably in that room there was maybe 1 or 2 of each. And so I was able to bring some cards out of my personal collection and trade into I did one deal that was for 2 of them, and then one deal that was for the other 2. And when you go to those and you trade with vendors, my objective is to try to get between 70 and 75% of value back pardon me, in cash. because cash tends to go a little bit further. So, typically if you sell them like a TCG, you're probably getting about 85% back. So if I can get in cash 70 to 75%, then I feel pretty good about that, because cash usually gives me a little bit of negotiating room when I go to make an offer on cards with vendors. So it really is, if I'm again getting between 70 and 75% of value back, it still trades or gives me spending power like I'm in the 80, maybe sometimes 85% region anyway. So that's how I got these, and really, really fun. This to me kind of, again, floats somewhere between collectible and investable. Certainly on the collectible side, our bobbleheads, serial number bobbleheads, going to be a collector's item long term, like that is investable. I don't necessarily know that to be the case. That's why I don't put this in the same arena as maybe the next couple things I'm going to show you. But this was certainly something that I picked up that I was really, really stoked about. And really, really happy just to have one of each of these, and kind of like a quest complete, side quest complete, right? So that is those are our bobbleheads. So this next couple of pieces that I'm going to show as far as my 2024 pickups are concerned. So MagicCon Vegas happens in October, and October is like the Lord of the Rings collector boxes were already starting to, they were going up in value, right? But October is really kind of when they started to spike. They had maybe, those special edition collector boxes had maybe been in like the, 600, 700, 750, and then they hit the 950 mark in October. And so as MagicCon what Vegas was happening, I happened to be sitting on a sealed subcase of the Lord of the Rings special edition collector boxes, and a subcase at six boxes. 6 sealed boxes of the regular Lord of the Rings collector boxes. And so at the time, the special editions were up to $950 a box, and the regulars were up to between $500 and $550 a box. My dollar cost average on each of the boxes was $350. So if you were to take up what I paid for each one of the collector boxes, or for the subcases really, and then divide it out amongst the 12 boxes, right, 6 and 6, my dollar cost average was $350 a box. And so what I did was I walked the room and kind of saw what the appetite was for those two subcases, and I ended up parting with both of the subcases for $7,500 cash. And cash is cash. Like, don't get me wrong, really, really happy with that. And obviously now we'll have a side conversation here with how much those collector boxes are now. But to me, one of the things was in making the choice to part with them. If I was just going to take the cash and then, I don't know, go blow it on food or whatever else, like, to me that doesn't really have any meaning, because once you eat food, it's gone. Like, yeah, I could go have a really nice meal, and yeah, I could go do some other things, or yeah, I could go take a vacation. But like, to me, once that is gone, it's gone, and I'm left with nothing for my quote unquote gains, right? But instead, what I was able to do was use that to pick up a couple of things that I don't think I really would have the opportunity to get otherwise. And so here they are. So we start off with a unlimited time twister. It was not, I didn't buy it graded. It was raw when I bought it, but Beckett was on site, and they were doing on-site grading that weekend. So they were grading them on site, and you could have the card returned back to you that same weekend. And so the time twister, the asking price on it was $5,500. Again, now I have cash, right? So I have $7,500 cash. I offered the vendor $5,000 cash, and they accepted that. And then I, of course, turned around and had it graded. And you can see 7.5, pretty good condition. Like, you can see the front is very, very clean. You can see the edges are 6.5, and that gets, because there's a nice little ding right there. But overall, the actual surface, centering, etc., it's a really, really clean time twister. And for me, part of it is like, if I'm going to be making a purchase of this caliber, I really like to be able to see the card myself, to see its flaws, to be able to, I want to know what I'm buying if I'm going to be spending that amount of money. And so taking that $7,500, I took 5 of it. Again, the asking price was $5,500. I offered 5, and that's how I ended up with an unlimited time twister. And then the other piece that, I had some left over, and I was like, well, could I maybe picking up another piece of power, maybe like a a kind of beaten up Mox or something along those lines, just because I think the Magic history aspect of it is something that really speaks to me. And when I saw this card sitting in a case, and it was, again, not graded, it was raw, I like instantly fell in love with it. And that is the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. Just a beautiful piece of Magic history to me. And you can see here the overall grade. I had it graded also, and the overall grade was a 9, which is basically pack fresh. I know that people think that, when you open a pack, like everything in the pack should be a 10 because it's pack fresh. That's really not how that works. Pack fresh is typically like a 9, and then you hope that it's, a 9.5 or better, but they don't all come out as 10s. And so to me, this card, just from 1994, essentially being of pack fresh quality, was, as I was looking at the best of my untrained eye, it seemed super, super clean to me. And I was like, well, I might have a chance to buy another Tabernacle at some point down the line. I'm not sure how often I'm going to have an opportunity to buy a Tabernacle that clean, that is also not already graded, and thus marked up. So the asking price on the Tabernacle, and they obviously knew it was clean, right? The asking price was $3,500. I offered 3, and I think they countered to $3,200. So I did buy the Tabernacle for $3,200 cash. So obviously 5 plus $3,200 equals $8,200. I had $7,500, so there was a delta there of $700. But I had some trade binders on me with some stuff that I had not already parted with. And so I traded some additional stuff to them to make up that $700 delta. And that, there is the aspect of, well, now those Lord of the Rings collector boxes, the ones the special editions that I sold basically for the subcase for $4,500, and I sold the regular box subcase for $3,000. So that's the $7,500. Of course, the collector boxes now for special editions are like $1,400, and I think the regular boxes are like $700. But there is that aspect, and I don't know. I don't know if/when Time Twister or Tabby will go up in price. But to me, the ability to have a piece of Magic history, and I know people have some certain feelings about grading Magic cards or, not playing with them and that sort of thing. But for me, this is also about like just a preservation of Magic history, something I really, really covet. And so, to me, again, it would have been different if I had taken the $7,500 and just blown it on things that didn't really offer me, I guess, aside from memories, any real return. But regardless of whether those collector boxes now go from $1,400 to $2,000 or whatever the case may be, like, I can sleep at night going, you know what? I feel really good about these acquisitions because I don't know how often I'm going to come across these cards again and have the opportunity and the means to be able to get them right then and there, right? So these, along with my bobbleheads that we went through, are my big pickups for the year, but I do have one last one. So essentially, obviously I paid cash for the things I, at one point, traded to get these cards, right? I bought the boxes, which produced the singles, which I added to my personal collection, with I then parlayed into bobbleheads or collector boxes I purchased and then sold and parlayed into those two pieces. But for the most part, other than the agility bobblehead, I didn't actually pay any physical cash. The one thing of recent note that I actually kind of broke down, and it's kind of a more or less an impulse buy, and I don't have a lot of those, pretty well thought out when it comes to these things. To me, it is strategic. But one thing that came out recently that caught my eye is Foundations came out, they reprinted Doubling Season, and then they made a fancy version of Doubling Season. But I was like, they already did a Doubling Season. They just had one. It was a confetti foil, and it was really, really nice. Why did they need to do it again? And then they showed me that it was cats. So I have been stocking the fractured foil of Doubling Season from Foundations, and I got me a copy. So I did pay cash for this. I think I paid $440 for this. I think you can still find them for around $460, $470, and then there's like maybe a 2 or 3 of them, and then they start to shoot up to like $600. I don't know if that's ever going to be. Again, this to me is more along the lines of a collection piece, not necessarily an investment piece. But you know the channel you're watching, right? Got a Doubling Season with cats on them. I got the fractured foil version because cats. Again, I don't know if the bobbleheads are would I classify them as investment? I probably lean more towards collectible, and if they go up in value, that's great. These probably more along the lines of actual, hey, I see these as something like a, I guess as Rudy would say, like a museum piece, right? And then this absolutely is like right down the line as to me, I wanted for as a collection. So not necessarily an investment. But that's it for me. This is my 2024 pickups. I wanted to share with you the things that made me the most happy this year as far as things that I acquired and added to my own personal collection. And the thing that I always say with patrons is like, whatever it is about Magic the Gathering that you like and you enjoy, do more of that, right? There's so many things. And I mentioned the boxes that this game checks for me and how it brings me joy. Whatever it does to bring you joy, you should do more of that. And I don't care, celebrate the wins, big and small. Whatever they are, if you picked up a few cards this year, I'd love to hear about it, by the way. Drop me some comments. Let me know some of your pickups this year that you either opened yourself and you now plan to keep for eternity, or that you picked up to complete your commander deck. What are some of the pieces that you added to your decks or to your collection, whatever that make you happy from this year? Because as we reflect on, the end of the year, like I try to do it on a positive note. I want to know, I want to, again, celebrate the wins, right? So that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And to all of you out there who continue to watch and support and like the channel, just know that I appreciate the heck out of y'all. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy New Year, and be well.